Thank you for joining tonight. Welcome to Mindful Flow. Tonight's practice is going to open our hips. It's going to give us some nice side openers as well, sort of really concentrating on the parts of the body that we didn't do a couple of days ago, just to keep everything evened out. And hip practices are great at least once a week, no matter what. So for that today, we're going to begin in a seated posture. So just take a simple cross-leg pose. You know, if lotus is in your practice, you can always take a lotus as well. Sometimes I like a half lotus, even if it's not a full lotus. But if you're not prepped and open for lotus, I don't suggest trying to jump into that. Maybe sometime we'll take a whole class and we'll sort of prep and work up to lotus pose, because it is a very satisfying posture, especially if you do meditation very often. It's really nice for grounding and dropping in, but it does take some prep and opening for the hips. So let's just begin. I invite you to close your eyes. And just drop into the space around your mat. See if you can begin to feel at home in this space. Feel as if this is a space that you've created for yourself, a place that you can inhabit. Feel at peace, without any other obligations, without any other things that you have to check off your to-do list or answer to anyone else. This is your sacred space. So just begin to get in touch with your five senses. Sense of sight, even behind your eyes, you can see a little dance of light and pattern and color. Just noticing that your eyes are moving and sensitive even when we're not focused on something with the eyelids open. There is still a sight to be had, and it allows us to visualize the things that are inside more than outside. Your sense of touch, the grounded feeling of touch of your seat upon the mat, your legs, providing a wonderful nest for you to just feel safe, feel stable, feel connected. A sense of sound, sense of hearing. Allowing these words that I'm speaking to move through the ether, move through space and time, the vibrations reaching you, so that you can listen and interpret and respond to this flow of communication. All of these senses are so magical and so much a part of what creates the experience we're having all throughout the day. But we really have a chance to get in touch with the senses once we quiet everything else down. Notice your breath. Breath moving in and out like a beautiful wave upon the shore. Notice the space that you're creating, the breath that is calming you, and feel at home. At home in your body. At home in your mind. And at home in your heart. We'll pause here in silence for a minute or so and just drop into this beautiful, sacred space. Your breath in a little deeper now, a little slower, a little longer, and draw it all the way in so you feel your lungs expanding. As you release it out, let your lips part and just let that breath come right out the mouth. Another deep inhale in, slow and long. Opening and expanding, perhaps even more space in the lungs. Release it out through the mouth with a gentle sigh. A third breath the same way. I invite you to let your eyes begin to flutter open. Float the eyelids open as you begin to bring your gaze up and around. Very nice. If you are sitting in crisscross fashion, maybe switch the crisscross of your legs. So just move them so that the opposite leg is on top. We're going to begin with a little twist, so let's lift our arms up, reach them overhead, lift out of both sides of your body, and then go ahead and take a little twist to the left. Relax your shoulders down. Take one full breath in this twist. Exhale, let it out. Inhale, bring the arms up and back to center, and then exhale, big, low, long twist the other way. Slong, that's a good word, long and slow. Deep breath while we're here. Exhale and bring it back to center. Go ahead and take your right hand next to the right hip. Lift the left arm up. At the top of your inhale, reach it a little higher, fingers reaching up to the stars. As you exhale, begin to bring it over your ear. You can barely bend that right elbow, but I want you to keep lifting out of both sides of your body so you're not collapsing down and seeing how low you can go. You're seeing how far you can create that long stretch on the side. One more deep breath here. Maybe roll that shoulder back slightly, gaze upward. And then bring that arm back down, other side. This time right arm reaches up. Nice long stretch with the fingers to begin. How much space can you create between the fingers and your hips? And then as you exhale, gently guide it over your ear. Keep the arm as straight as you can, reaching the fingers outward. Nice long stretch. Imagine that line of energy coming up from the hip joint and then all the way out through the fingertips. Inhale and come back to center. All right, we're going to switch the legs around and bring them down the mat. So if you were sitting on a blanket, you might want to take that off the mat. Take my sweater off here so I can start to move a little bit more. And we're going to come into Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. Hopefully you can see my legs. It looks like they're awfully dark down here with the dark mat and the dark leggings. So hopefully you can see my leg position. So legs are pointing straight out, hip distance apart. We're going to grab the strap, okay, and take the strap around the balls of both feet. Pulling the strap back. My elbows are going to stay nice and tight to my body. So my elbows are right at my mid part of my body once you have the strap in place. You're going to lift up, so you're creating a perfect letter L, okay? You're perfectly perpendicular. Head is reaching up, sits bones are pressing down, and my legs are coming out nice and straight. As I start to hinge forward, you can wrap the strap around your fingers maybe once as you hinge forward with a flat back. So we're really lifting up through the lumbar spine and then just barely starting to hinge forward, bringing the heart toward our feet. And just keying into that lower back region to see how much length and opening we can get in those lumbar vertebra. So if you've been sitting all day and maybe crunching your lower back, this is a great way to get the stretch into the lower back. Eventually you'll come forward and down a little bit more. But the slower you go, the more mindful you can be about where the tightness needs to be released. So you can see my elbows still stay really close to my side. I'm not letting my arms come forward. Slow, deep breaths. Hinge forward a little bit more as space is created, but keep your back as straight as you can. One more full breath here. Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. And then slowly, you can round your back ever so slightly as you start to stack back up and come back to your initial sitting position. All right, we're going to take the strap simply around the right foot this time. Bring the left foot to the inner right thigh, coming into Janusirsasana, head to the knee pose. Same thing with the strap though. We're going to use that strap tonight. Pressing our sits bones down, you're going to feel your left hip rolling to the outside. If this is too much for your knee to drop all the way down, take that blanket. Give yourself a little cushion on the outside of that left knee. Make sure that that's comfortable. All right, inhale, draw your energy up. Lift, 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 and then exhale just as we did before. Hinge forward with a flat back. Now you may have a little bit more space to come forward with one leg bent this time. That wouldn't be unusual. But I still want you to go super slow, and I want you to reach forward, extending the spine long. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Keep pressing the left knee and hip outward. As you feel more space open up, you can come forward and down a little bit more, but no matter what, keep that back nice and flat. The belly will reach down first, and eventually you may come to the full head to the knee pose, but that's not our goal. The goal is just to feel the right sense of stretch for what you need. All right, slowly begin to come back up to the top. Let's remove the strap. Before we change legs, I'm going to take my left hand, bring it next to my left thigh, press down into the hand, and then lift up on the left knee. Right leg extends out, right arm comes straight up. Take a deep breath here with my hands stacked one on top of the other. And then we're going to just bring a nice wide circle to that right shoulder, circling the arm around once, twice, and 3 times around. Arm comes back up, and then we come right back down to the seat. Now we can switch legs. All right, so my right foot comes to the inner left thigh. Bring the strap around the left foot this time. Establish our starting foundation, our starting posture. Same L shape that we created first. Roll the right thigh down this time. Deep inhale up, and then as you exhale, start to descend forward toward your foot. Heart reaching forward. Still very, very mindful about the lower back, but you're also going to feel this a little bit more intensely behind the knee, maybe into the back of the calf and the Achilles. Slow and steady. 2 more breaths here. Full breath. And then rise back up, stacking one at a time until you come to the top. Remove the strap or belt. We're done with it. Take the right hand next to your right hip. Press down into that hand, lift up, and my left arm comes up and overhead. So arms are beautifully stacked, one on top of the other. And then slow big circles with that left arm. Around once, twice, 3 beautiful large circles times around. And then help yourself back down to your seat. All right. We're going to move into another seated posture before we start to move and groove a little bit more. We're going to come to deer pose. So I promised you some hip opening tonight. This is a really good one for the hips. To come into deer pose, we're going to start with the right leg forward. So my right leg, if I'm mirroring you and you're on your right, my right shin is parallel to the side of the mat. And then I'm going to create a little bit of space between my right foot and my left knee. So maybe a hand width's distance between my foot and my knee. It looks really dark on there on my screen. I know these evening practices are hard to see everything at night, so hopefully I'm describing this and you can see it. So a little bit of space here. So you're creating like a pinwheel effect with your legs. All right, so with the legs in place, we're going to turn our body toward the right. You're going to lift up through the spine, creating a little twist here as well, but you're going to feel it in both hips. And then just slowly let your arms come down to the mat. If you like, you can stack your arms on blocks, so you don't have to let the arms come all the way down, or they can come right on down to the mat if your hips and your twist allow you to do so. So just creating your support here with the forearms down on the mat. Make sure your left hip feels comfortable and grounded, and your right hip isn't overly stretched as well. If this is too much on the right hip, you can bring that leg in a little bit closer to the left. So the further apart you have the legs, the more you're going to get the opening in that hip. Breathe here, drop in once again. Let's keep reconnecting to that beautiful sacred space through the passageway of our breath. All right, one more breath here. press your hands up. Walk your hands back up to the center before you change your leg position at all. Keep your legs right where they are. And now we're going to fold over the front leg. So the right leg, we're just going to take those hands right down in front. Once again, you can bring a block down here and bring your forearms down on the block. You never have to go all the way down to the floor if that's too much. But now this is a more intense version of deer pose. So we're folding right over the front shin. Take 3 full breaths here. Relax. Just imagine those hips getting a beautiful opening. Be kind and gentle. Let go of all the tension inside. One more breath. Inhale and bring your hands back up. Come all the way back up to the top, and you're simply going to switch those legs around the other way. So left leg is now in front. It's important that your shin try to be as parallel to the end of the mat as you can. So my shin is straight across, not bringing it back, but really across. That's going to give you the benefit of this opening. Again, space between the heel and the right knee. Turn and face the left side of your mat. Lift up, create those spaces, those pockets of air between the spine vertebra, and then begin to descend down. Go really slowly. If you have any tight areas or any places that tend to catch or hitch, ease into the stretch. This is a deep twist as well as a hip. Feel it, but once you're in it, please try to relax. Use your breath to calm the mind. Find ease in the pose. 3 breaths here. Start to lift yourself back up. Walk your hands backward towards your body. And again, leave the legs right where they were. And we're going to do the same thing by folding forward over that shin. So just come forward now. Remember, this is always an acceptable substitution for pigeon pose, because as you can see, the front leg is in the same position as we would take in pigeon. And so it's a nice variation. If pigeon isn't available to you for whatever reason, you can always take this other posture. Start to relax. 3 slow, long breaths here. Just let that right hip melt. All the tension around the lower back and the hip. Feel a little burning, might feel a little sensation, but as long as it doesn't feel painful, just allow your breath to carry you along. All right. Deep inhale, start to walk your hands backwards, lift yourself back up. We're going to come on to hands and knees positions right now. All right. So come on to hands and knees, and we're going to change it up just a little bit. Take the blanket. If you need a blanket for a kneeling position, you can take a blanket and bring it on your mat. We're going to come into Paragaha gate pose. So come on up to your kneeling position. And we'll start off in gate by bringing the right foot out. So my right foot is going to come down the length of the mat. You're going to turn your toes toward the end of the mat and think about your hip rotating to the outside. So just kind of rotate it out. Instead of letting it shift forward, make sure that it's rotating back. So once you have the hip rotating back, but you're still facing forward, root down through that left leg and then lift your arms up. See if you can balance here for a moment, reaching both fingers, both hands upward. And then we're going to take the right hand down to the right thigh, lift the left arm up even higher, and then just as we did our opening stretch, bring it over the ear and slide the right hand down the leg, little by little, creating our gate. So see if you can roll that left shoulder back ever so slightly. Gaze upward toward the ceiling, the palm is down. And then inhale, bring that arm up and back. And we're going to do a little bit of moving, so a moving gate pose with our breath. Inhale, bring both arms up. Exhale, hand down. Inhale, arm reaches up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, both arms down. We're going to go through that one more time. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. And go ahead and bring both hands down in front of you. Bring the right leg back up under and just press back really momentarily. Just get a little child's pose. Press back into your hips. And then we'll lift up and we'll go for it on the other side. So just come to the opposite side. As you're ready, come back up onto your knees. Left leg comes out this time to stabilize. Rotate the thigh, rotate the calf. So my quadricep is on top, not reaching forward, okay? So once you're stable there, go ahead and lift both arms up. Reach, reach, reach. Left arm comes down to the left leg. Right arm reaches up even higher. How much space can you create? And then let it come over your ear. We're going to stay here for a couple of breaths. So just ease into this posture, balance yourself. Make sure that you're not reaching or leaning forward, but you're rolling the right shoulder back, maybe even gazing upward to help keep your focus on lifting up rather than down. Beautiful. Inhale. Bring the arm down, and we're going to go into moving gate once again with the breath. Let's move. Inhale, up. Exhale, hand down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Again, inhale, up. Exhale, down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, up. And both hands exhale, down. Both hands come all the way down to the floor. Left leg comes back up under. And just press back into your hips. Let your head sink down. Little child's pose here. All right. As you're ready, go ahead and you can remove the blanket from the mat. Go ahead and toss it off to the side. We might use it later, but we'll just toss it there for now. Come on to hands and knees position. From hands and knees position, tabletop. We're going to move through a cat-cow posture, but we're going to do it a little bit differently than we normally do. So this time we're going to go into cat to start with the inhale. So I want you to think about, when we talk about moving with the breath, if you take vinyasa for me, or you think about this often enough, when we're taking the breath in, the inhales are usually drawing us up. So we're inhaling up. When we're releasing it, something's usually going down. So it's all moving up and down with the body. So normally in a cat-cow, I take the inhale with the cow tilt first, but tonight we're going to do it the opposite way. So I want you to think about your core being the part of the anatomy that's moving up and down. As we go into cat stretch, the core is moving up toward the ceiling. So inhale and take a cat stretch. And then exhale, let the belly drop down, take your cow. Inhale, take your cat. Exhale, move into cow. Inhale, move to cat. Exhale to cow one more time, all the way through. And back to cow. Come right back into tabletop position. Bring your right leg out. Extend that right leg. Lift it up to hip height. Push back through the right hip, pushing the right foot all the way back to the back of the mat, extending through the hip joint, through the hip flexor. And then from that extended right leg, cross it over your body to the left, tap it down off the mat, and then look over your left shoulder and gaze at your toes. Full breath here, up and down the right side of your body. Slide the right leg back, bring the knee back under your body. Take one round of cat-cow. Inhale for cat. Exhale to cow. And then come back to tabletop position. Extend the left leg out and then lift it up hip height. Push through the heel. Feel as if someone had a rope around your left ankle and they're pulling it back. Extend. And then from hip height, go ahead and cross it over. Tap the foot off of the mat on the right side. And then look over your right shoulder. There's your toes. Arcing the left side of the body. Feel the air moving all the way up and down. Beautiful. Bring the left foot back up and under. Curl your toes and let's lift up to downward facing dog. Lift those heels nice and high. Hips pressing up to the ceiling, and then push your thighs to the back of the mat. Deep breath in. Exhale, cleansing breath out. Walk your feet up to the front of the mat. Come all the way to the front in a forward fold position. When you arrive at the front of the mat, hands either on the mat or blocks. Pause here for just a moment. Shake out your head. Let all the stress of the day, just let it go. Let it roll off. And then start to come all the way up. We're going to stand, slowly rise, arms reach forward, up and overhead. Exhale, bring your right hand by your right side. Left arm reaches up on your inhale. And then exhale, we're going to bring it right over the ear one more time. Getting lots of nice side stretches here as we come into standing crescent. Inhale, bring that up, arm down. Right arm is going to reach up. And then bring that arm over the ear. Deep breath here. Inhale, bring both arms up. And exhale into forward fold. Once again, now from here, from our forward fold position, go ahead and step back with the left foot and take a long runner's lunge. So a low runner's lunge. Left leg is back. Lifting up through through the core. Support yourself. Head reaches forward. My neck is nice and long, and yet it's at ease. I can move it easily. No strain, no pain. From our runner's lunge, we're going to walk the hands around to the back of the, to the left side of the mat. And you're going to pivot on that right foot. So we're coming to a wide leg forward fold position with my feet parallel to the ends of the mat. Okay? Once you're in this wide leg position, I want you to really concentrate on the inner thighs. So lifting up through the inner thighs so you get your base of support from the lower core. Walk your fingers forward a few inches, lengthen through your spine, and then exhale, bend your elbows back, let your head just drop down and fold in this wide-legged position. Remember, you can bring your blocks around with you. You can always have them underneath. Blocks are meant to move with you, so breathe here. All right, inhale, lift your head and lengthen through your spine one more time. And then go ahead and bring your heels in once, and then move your toes in once, and then heels in one more time. So now my feet are probably 3 feet apart or so. I'm gonna bend my knees. Take my hands to the waist. We're lifting up to goddess. So strong core now lifts me up as I come into a goddess squat. My toes are pointed out, my heels are in, my shoulders are rolling back, and my tailbone is lengthening down. So when you're in a goddess position, I don't want to see, try not to go for this, okay? What you want to do is bring that pelvis into the neutral pelvis zone like we talked about last week. So lengthen your tailbone down, harder on the quads, I know, and then open your arms wide for the true goddess position. So elbows out. And then we're just going to take a little dancey goddess. We're going to let her arc over this way. We're going to let her play over on this side. And we're just going to keep that going. Do you feel your quads? Are they talking to you yet? One more time this way. And that way. Come back up to center, and then let's take a little twist. Twist to the left. Inhale, exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, exhale, twist to the left. And to the right. One more time back and forth. And then one more time to the right. Come back to center. Hands come to waist. Oh, thankfully we get to come right back down. Hands are going to come down to the floor. Knees are bent. Help yourself down with safety. Now, from this position, we're going to bring those heels in a little bit closer. So toes in one more time, heels in one more time. And then you're going to let your back side come all the way down, coming into a squatting position, Malasana. I'm going to flip around so you can see me, since I was facing the wrong way. So coming into Malasana, heels in, toes out. Remember, you can use a block to stabilize your seat in Malasana. You don't have to hover if that's too much on your knees. If you need 2 blocks, looks good from what I can see here. So either way, come into that squatting position, hands at the heart, and then slowly start to push your elbows away from each other. Lengthening down through the spine. Once again, I don't want to see anything sticking out. I want to see a nice, strong, flat back. Breathe here. It's really good for the lower back and the hips. Malasana is an excellent posture for both of those areas. One more breath. Slowly take your hands forward. Help yourself up. From this position, we're simply going to walk the hands around to the front. Let your left leg come back. Come right back into your lunging position. And then allow your right leg to come back to downward facing dog. Nice, long, stretchy downward dog. Deep breath in and out. See how much time we've got here. And then right foot comes forward. One more time, low lunge position. Drop the heel of the left foot. I'm adding on a little something extra, so in case you were wondering. From here, let's lift up. We're going to take one warrior two posture. So lift up to warrior two. We've already got those hips nice and open. We've got strong legs. And we're going to take exalted warrior. So left hand down on the thigh. Right arm reaches up. And then start to arch it over your ear. Dip into your right knee. Strong legs, open hips. Deep breath. Bring your right arm forward, cartwheel your arms around. Left hand comes down to the mat. Take a little lunging twist with your right arm, flying up to the sky. Beautiful. Right arm comes back down. Step back to downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, let's take the left leg forward. We have that same lovely sequence on the other side. Left leg comes forward. Come into your lunge. Stretch through the calf, stretch through the Achilles. Just take a second. Enjoy the lunge for what it is. Strengthening. And then walk your hands around to the right side this time. Parallel your feet. Nice wide stance here. As soon as you come into wide legs position, walk your hands a little bit forward. Lengthen your spine. Create those pockets of space in between the vertebrae. Just think about all the blood flow, all the nourishment, opening up all those pinched areas. And then you can just start to bend your elbows back. Let the crown of the head drop down heavily and come into a full fold in this position. Remember, keep pulling up through your inner thighs. Don't let the weight of your body just sink down. You're lifting. Your energy is moving up every bit as much as it's coming down. Keeps you balanced, keeps you strong and safe. From here, lift your head back up, straighten your arms, and we're going to bring the heels in, and then the toes in, and then the heels in one more time. Bend your knees, coming up into goddess once again. Hands come to waist. Strong core lifts us back up. Sitting into our squatting goddess position, open the arms back. As soon as we take goddess, let's just let her dance a little bit. She'll dance over to the left, and then she'll tilt to the right, dance to the left. Kind of looks like those little bobbly things that you see on windshields sometimes, doesn't it? A couple more times. And then come back to center. Let's take a few twists. Let's twist to the left, center, and then twist right. All the time. Keep those twists going all the time. Your tailbone is lengthening down. Your core is holding you steady. One more time each direction. And then bring it back to center. Let's bring our hands to the waist. Ooh, we need to come down, don't we? Let's let those legs get a break. Hands come all the way back down to the mat. Slowly come down. And then we're going to bring the feet in just a little bit closer. So toes point in, and then heels point in, and then we bend the knees and sit all the way down, coming right back into Malasana, garland pose. Hands to heart. Position your support. Good job. Make sure you feel supported. Because no matter what, if we can't feel supported, then we can never release the mind and get the true relaxation in the pose. And there's just very few poses where we can't find a reasonable support system in place, no matter what is going on with your body today or what challenges you may have. So if that's ever an issue, you can reach out and you can ask me for help. Support is the key. Get a couple more breaths here in nice strong Malasana. Keep lengthening your tailbone down and your head up. Breathing up and down the spine. Beautiful. All right. Start to bring your hands, pitch yourself forward a little bit. Bring your weight onto your hands just so that you can lift up. Walk your hands around back to the front of the mat. Reposition your legs so you're in a low lunging position. It's not a very graceful transition there, but just go ahead and get there any way you need to. This time your right heel is going to come down all the way. We're going to lift up to our final standing position in warrior. So lift all the way up. Heel to arch alignment. Open your arms wide. Hips are now nice and open to the right side. And then bring your right hand to the thigh. Left arm reaches up. And pause in exalted warrior. Full benefit of that lateral stretch, ribs opening up like a fan. Strong legs, open heart. All right, bring that left arm forward, cartwheel the arms around, take the right arm down to the mat. Left arm sweeps up and reaches to the stars, come into your twist. Left hand comes down to the mat. Let's take the left foot back, press back, downward facing dog. Nice long stretchy downward dog. Really feel those hips get a nice opening. And then come on forward. Bring your knees down. And let's all take a child's pose. Take a resting breath here. 3 full breaths. Up on you, doesn't it? There's a lot going on. One more. Okay, come on up to hands and knees. Swing the legs around, and we're going to roll on down to our back. Always feels good to release down here. Bring your knees into your chest. Let your feet reach up to the ceiling. Open your knees wide, and then reach up. Let's come to Ananda Balasana, happy baby. You can grab hold of your ankles, shins, or the outside of your feet. Just let your knees reach down to your armpits. Relax your shoulders. Soften into the pose. always the best feeling. Alright, and then come back to the center. We're going to have one more stretch that's a really nice counter stretch to all of the hip opening we've done tonight. We're going to take the right thigh and cross it over the left. So we're going to squeeze those thighs nice and tight together. It's a shoelace pose. We're going to reach down and grab the opposing leg wherever it's comfortable for you to grab onto. If it's the shins, it's fine. If you can come down to the ankle, maybe you can grab your toes, who knows. It doesn't matter. You're just going to pull the foot in the opposite direction and feel your hips begin to rotate toward the inside of your body. So this is a really nice counter stretch and helps make sure that everything is opened up and we're not overstretching one way or another. Stretches are great, but they also have to be balanced. You want to make sure that all the ligaments, all the muscles are getting worked both directions. So relax here, breathe into your hips. Uncross your legs, and we're going to do that same thing but with the opposite leg on top. So left thigh over on top of the right, and just come back into it the same way, pulling the legs in the opposite direction. It's called shoelace pose. If you look at your legs, you can imagine them being tied like a shoelace. Makes sense. Make sense to me, but this one does. All right, release your legs, uncross everything. And let's go ahead and roll down. Let your legs just extend down the mat. Like to tonight, since you have a blanket out, if you're so inclined, you can take a blanket, maybe roll it up, place it underneath your knees. Sometimes that feels really nice for your lower back. It gives the lower back a little bit of gentle release. Sometimes when we lay flat on the back, then the sacrum and the lower back get a little bit crunched. So if we just lift the knees ever so slightly, it can feel kind of soft and really nice. So it's always a good variation to take in Shavasana if you like that. Start to slow down the breath from here. And let's go back to thoughts from our earlier meditation. Just feeling how this practice is integrating the sensations throughout your body. Do you feel a little swirl or vibration in certain areas? Probably the hips, maybe your lower back. You just feel more calm and more relaxed all over. Notice the feel of the air on your skin. Body upon the earth. thoughts for just a few more minutes. Find peace and stillness within. Your breath back in your body with more intention. Connecting the sacred space inside your bubble with the environment around you. Maybe wiggling your fingers, moving your wrists and ankles. To the mat and hugging your knees into the chest. Take your time, rock back and forth. Really give yourself a nice little massage here on your hips. You did a lot of work tonight. You got a really good stretch. And then anytime you're ready, sit up. Go back to where we started. Together we'll close practice by lifting our arms up, reaching upward toward the heaven, the spirit, all that is divine. And then exhale, bring that down into our heart center, connecting with the universe. The light in me is honored and grateful for the light within you as well. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Om Shanti and Namaste.